Hi, beautiful souls. So it says I'm live. Let's just have a quick see, because you can always tell. Nothing's showing yet. So hopefully it will pick up any minute now, because obviously there are little technical glitches to going live in on Facebook. And hopefully you will get there and you will find us. You just never know with technology as it is these days and the changes that are made. I'm live. There I am. How nice to be seen. And hopefully Larkin will be joining us very, very shortly. She has her lovely horses to sort at the moment. Okay, so here we are. Welcome to Angels in Action. It is Monday, the 20th of May. Who can believe it? Another month nearly over. Oh my goodness. At least we're getting to start to see some warmer and nicer weather. And I'm just going to see if I can just adjust that. I always feel like I look like an alien now. Now that I've got lighting, but with glasses, it gives you this lovely little circular effect on the eyes. If I can get it just right. Ooh. Oh, dearie me. I think I look like something out of Ghostbusters. Talking of which, who's watched the latest Ghostbusters movie? Yeah, I did. Liked it, but not as good as the original. But do you think follow-ups ever are as good as the original movies? I don't know. We'll see. But anyways, here we are. So I hope you've all had a good week and that the weather's been kind to you. Here in the UK, it's starting to be a lot more sunnier, so that's good. Really, I even managed to get out and do some gardening yesterday and spend a bit of time just sitting, enjoying the sunshine, and a little bit of time meditating as well. So having some really lovely little messages from the universe and making connections. What else have I had going on this week? My Deckable, my Oracle card deck called Whimsical Witches is a lovely little fun and quirky Oracle deck where you get an image of a witch, the witch's quirky name, and then there's a word on it and a rune symbol on it as well. And then on the back of the card, it tells you about the meaning of the word and the rune symbol. And it's a really fun way just to get a little bit of intuitive guidance, but it's on an app called Deckable. And on that app, you can just have a digital deck of cards. And obviously you take your phone wherever you go, or your iPad or your tablet or whatever. And yeah, it just means you can get to play with cards. So I don't know if you can see, but the Whimsical Witches, that's my deck there. You can have little random layouts that you can draw. So if you do a quick draw, it will, let me just see, picks a card for you. And we've got Mystique, Nimbus, Sparkle, Brew is the name of the lovely witch. And the rune is Answers, and it's known as Wisdom. So I might just use a little. Hi, Natalie. Fabulous. Lovely to see you. And Larkin hopefully will be joining us shortly. Just sharing a little bit about my Oracle deck, which I know you've got. And yeah, it's just fabulous. I'm having so much fun with it. And I think those of you that are getting it as well. So I will mention it again throughout the broadcast. But for those of you that come onto the broadcast, if you would like to be in with the chance to get a free deck, then just message witch in the comments. I will take a note of your name. I'll pop you in a draw, and one lucky person will get to win a free deck, which is on the Deckable app. So then once you've drawn your card, you press the flip button and it turns it round to give you the readings. And yeah, there's so much more that you can share it. Then you can send it to somebody if you wanted to. It has a little muse button whereby it gives you a little meditation timer So if you were on the other side of the card, let's just see, turn it round again. So we press the muse button, so you could set the timer and then just meditate or contemplate the card and whatever feeling or meanings it might bring up with you. Oh, thanks, darling. I've had so much fun creating it. There are about another 20 cards to go with this, and I'm not quite sure how I will get that out there as an addition to the deck. But those cards don't actually have rune symbols on them. They just have the words. So I want to download and channel the meanings for those cards. So they're slightly different, but like an addition to the deck. So yeah, so that's another thing that I'm in the process of creating as well. But you also, with the app, when you get to play, oh, where are we, camera here? You can't really see it, but there's lines on this page. So you can actually journal your thoughts and inspiration around the card to keep that as like an aid memoir, really, or use it to journal, just to practice your journaling. And it gives you like the 2 cards so you can see them, and yeah, just journal for as much as you need. And the one fab thing I found about this, obviously, is you have your microphone, don't you? So you can actually speak your thoughts as you're looking at the card as well. It comes with a variety of layouts. Let me just see. So I have to get this camera angle right. So here you can like scroll through and just randomly select a card. You can do a shuffle, so it will shuffle the cards for you. And you can then stop it or wait for it to automatically stop. Press the play, draws out another card. And so on. So there we go. So that's my Deckable app anyway. So that's been one of the big projects that I've had going on this week, getting that finalised and sorted. And I'm just so excited. It's just been, it has been challenging getting the app to work. Well, not the app, but getting the technology side of it. So I had to do a Google file to get it uploaded. And yeah, that was just so much fun. The other thing as well I've finalised and got up and running now is my, excuse me, Facebook subscribers group, which is at the moment it costs 99 pence in GB pounds. So in UK currency, it's 99p to join. That's per month. And every month I share information on crystals, cards, meditations, angels, chakras, inspirational thoughts and wisdom that comes through at the time that I just want to share with you. And yeah, mediumship. There'll be all sorts of things on how to develop your mediumship, how to develop reading cards, colour therapy, and so much more. And for the first 10 subscribers, you will get your 99p membership for the lifetime that you're in the group. And as part of that as well, you will also receive a free monthly reading. Your first reading will be like one-to-one, so face-to-face, either through Messenger. And then after that, consecutive ones will probably come to you via email. And then a bit later on down the line, maybe 2 or 3 months of email readings, you'll then get the opportunity to have another one-to-one face-to-face. And that's for the lifetime of your membership. So, and it was for a princely sum, as I say, of 99 pence. Once I've reached 20, so the first 10 subscribers get the free reading and the opportunity to have a free curate healing session that I do. And then that's for the first 10 readers. The first 10 members, the first 25 members still get the 99 pence membership, but they will be eligible for discounts on the readings. Then after 25 members or 2 months, whichever comes first, the actual membership subscription price will be going up to £22. For those of you that register and join at the 99 pence, that is your lifetime of paying 99 pence a month. You won't ever get the price increase unless, of course, you chose to leave the group and then at some point chose to come back. Then you would obviously initiate the new membership thing. So that's been my week, really, just getting ready for all of that. Oh, one good bit of news. One of my sons, I'm trying to think of the word now. It's gone from me for a minute. Proposed. proposed to his partner of 9 years, and she said yes. So I'm going to be an official mother-in-law sometime in the future. So that's really good. So excited about that as well. And what else? Been blessed to connect with some beautiful souls, done some lovely readings, and yeah, really just having a busy week. The major shift and change that's coming in as well for my week is that I'm now going to be managing my oh goodness me, Donna Ray, I'd have to check. Let me just do a quick currency for you. So welcome, Donna Ray. Welcome, Christina. Lovely to see you both here. Thanks for popping in. I will just do a quick currency conversion for you. I'm not quite sure how the Canadian dollar matches up against the pound, but we'll soon find out. It's always exciting when you do little things like this, isn't it? Let's see. So GB to Canadian dollar. So you're looking at around, I would say between $1.70 and $2 Canadian is what you're looking at there, because obviously that's the exchange rate in this moment and the exchange rate changes. But yeah, if you're interested, find me on Facebook, drop me a message. I'll explain a little bit more to you about the group, and yeah, we can set you up to join the membership if you want. So yeah, and yeah, we'll be looking at card readings, Christina, as we go along. Just waiting for Larkin to pop in and see. Talking about card readings, this is my next Oracle deck that's going to be coming out on Deckable. Ooh, upside down one there. And these are going to be called the Driftwood Angel Oracle. So I may well just use these to play with during this live. You never know. And these are all just lovely little driftwood angels with the word. And again, they're a work in progress as well. So I'm being quite creative behind the scenes as well. Thank you, ladies. Yeah. So how have your days been? So Donna, I'm guessing you're in Canada. Christina, whereabouts are you hailing from? It's lovely to meet you. And I know my lovely Natalie here, she's in Canada as well. So I believe it's a Canadian holiday for you. We've got our holiday, our May holiday next Monday, next week, next Monday. So I most likely won't be here. Wonderful, another Canadian, fabulous. So it's Canada night tonight. How amazing. And have either of you ladies been here before? I'm sure, Donna, I recognise your name. I think you've been here as well. So yeah, our long weekend will be next weekend, although mine won't be a long weekend. It'll be a busy weekend of working because my bosses have just opened up a new bar. We had what we called a soft opening on Saturday, just to introduce it. And this week it's getting all its finishing touches set up, and we officially open on Friday. So I will actually be working Friday and Saturday, and then having Sunday and Monday off, and going to go away. And if the weather holds, please, God willing, yes, please, 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 I will be going sailing. So I'm so looking forward to that. I just love being by the ocean. You know, water is a great transmuter of energy, and it's a great cleanser of energy as well. You know, I think we get so used to seeing water around. It's a natural, everyday part of our lives, that it becomes the norm, and accepting that, yeah, you know, we know that water's good to drink because it hydrates the body. We know that we can wash and bathe in water, and, you know, it cleans the skin. But I think as well, it goes a little bit deeper than that for me. It's lovely, fabulous, Christina. Well, welcome, ladies. It's so nice to have familiar faces coming in again. And yeah, so water is very, very good at transmuting energy, and it's great for clearing your energetic field as well. So for those of you that know about your auric field, you know, if that's feeling a little bit stuck or stagnant, or you're somebody that perhaps picks up a load of energies from other places or other people. Just putting your feet in water. We talk about grounding and walking on the grass out in nature. Fantastic. They're great ways as well. But for me, water is very much, and even just being on a boat, sat on water, really just clears my energy, and it just makes me feel so good. It's what I call my truly happy place. So, yeah, so I will be sailing off to there. But water as well also has memory. So working with water, it does exactly, Christina. Yeah, it holds memory. For those of you, perhaps Christina, you've heard of him, Dr. Emoto, who did a lot of studies, a lot of scientific studies on water and how water held memory. So if if you think about it, if you get into um, a heated discussion with somebody, there's a glass of water on the table, and I think about this, and I have done this, and I've picked it up and I've sipped it, and I thought, oh, that really doesn't taste good. It put me off for a long time, put me off drinking water, until I realized that actually perhaps what the water was doing in that moment was absorbing what was going on around, and was what making it taste a little, I guess, tainted. So now when I'm working with water, I make sure it's pure water. So I have a water purifier that just, cleans out the chemical compositions in water that we don't really need. And then I just, think about the water being full and vibrant, filled with love, send it energy, and just makes it so much nicer to drink in that respect. But these tests that Dr. Emoto did were amazing. He took some bits of water and placed it in glasses or glass jars and played music to it, or wrote words on pieces of paper and stood it on the pieces of paper. And then he froze the water, and under microscopic view, the particles of the ice showed different matrices. So some of them looked all like crunkled and horrible and not nice to look at. And that was all to do with either the heavy metal music that had been played to it, or the words with words like hate, horrible, don't like you, things like that, all the negative words. And then everything that was like soothing and calming and gentle, and all the nice, loving, compassionate words, that the icicles just look like beautiful, beautiful snowflakes. It's a fascinating topic. It's a lovely subject. I have got his books somewhere, and they're around, but there's a couple of books out that he wrote as well about the water. So if you think about it, if this has an effect, what do we do with our water? We cook with our water, we bathe in it, we clean with it. So if we make it a clear energy, then how beautiful is that? How nice will things around you thrive? Your plants, for example. We can talk to our plants, we can love our plants in that way. But if we give them lovely, nurturing water as well, they're going to flourish and grow. So it's all those nice little things that we can do around us that help us. But from an energetic stance, for me, if I want to go into a nice, deep cleansing meditation, I quite often will lay in the bath and meditate. I love that. And people talk about taking showers to clear your energy as well, and just visualizing that water that's coming over your body as being white or golden or whatever, and just clearing the energy as well. You can use water to transmute the energy in your rooms if you feel that there's a bit of dense, heavy energy, and perhaps you can't do something like smudging to clear the energy. Then just take some jugs or glasses of water, place them at strategic points in the room, leave them for 24 to 48 hours, and then just obviously dispose of them. A great way to do that is to just pop it on the earth in the garden, because the earth will absorb and just transmute all that energy. Oh, wonderful, Christina. So it's wonderful, isn't it, how this is a topic that's just arisen, and it's all things that you can connect to and, understand. So it's lovely. I mean, I used to, not so much now, but before. Hi, Susan. Lovely to see you. Thanks for popping in. Um, so yeah, so bath meditations for me are a great way of just clearing and cleansing my energy. You can add things as well to, like aromatherapy oils, Epsom salts, Himalayan salts. All of those add to that lovely energy of cleansing. And I learned a new one um, over the last couple of days that I didn't realize how cleansing as well. That using lemons, would you believe, is actually a great way of clearing and cleansing your energy. And I'd have to go back and listen to the class that I was in about it. But Anne was saying that this was a technique that was used by shamans hundreds of years ago. They would take a lemon and salt and place it in water, and then you just bathed in that water to clear and energize the body as well. So yeah, adding lemon. And I've always wondered because I drink lemon water, fresh lemons, of course, not your juices or anything like that. But I drink lemon water, and you do. I know it's a great cleanser as well for the liver. But yeah, it always made me feel more energized after I drank lemon water, and now I know why, because that's one of the properties, energetic properties of having lemons. So that's pretty good as well. So they're one of the. So for me, that's one of the ways that I love to clear my energy. Is just going for a walk by the water or being on water as well. So it's fabulous. Just checking I've not missed any messages. Okay, that all looks good so far. So it's lovely to see you all. Let me just, I'm just going to, I have this lovely flower deck here. I was also thinking about something that I wrote yesterday in my group about perception, and looking at life through different lenses. And, I was sat actually just gazing up at the tree, and I could see all the different, through the branches of the tree and the gaps in the leaves. It was just an amazing feeling of realizing how we see things through a different lens just by looking at changing our perspective, perhaps thinking about things differently, changing our thought processes. I mean, Larkin always talks beautifully about mindset and our ego and how it brings up these thoughts and how to have the awareness of them and just being aware of where our thoughts are taking us. And, but sometimes we need that difference in perception to be able to see the positive side of things. So as I was looking at the tree and the leaves, because I was laid back and looking up underneath it, the lower branches were all sort of in like shadow or shade, and then the branches above where the sunlight was on them was just shining a beautiful green and really bright, and it just felt it. As I looked at the shadowy side, I felt a little bit, that's not, that's a bit cold. I felt a bit cold. But then as I looked at the brighter leaves, I started to feel a lot warmer, even though I couldn't feel the heat of the sun coming through. It was just like, wow. And that changed it was just this whole thought process of, if we can change our thoughts from dark to light, then we can shift our energy. We change our perception. And we may not always do it instantly, but just having that awareness of being able to change our thoughts, having that choice of being able to change them, can really shift our focus on what's going on around for us. And when we do that, and when we just allow things to flow, rather than going against the tide, as they say, or banging my head against a brick wall, you can really just allow things to be. Sometimes even in the darkest of moments, just accepting that it's okay for that energy to be there, and knowing and trusting that by changing the perception of it, things will start to improve and get better. So let's just see what these are. A lovely deck of cards that I found in a charity shop. There must be the spirit of plants and flowers, because they're all different flowers and things. There's no book or anything with them, but I just loved them when I picked them up. So this one, so this is the picture on the back, and this is Poppy Spirit, and it says courage and happiness. The universe is offering abundance. Be open to soulmate or past life connections. Move on with joy. Keep only the happy memories. And for me, I think when we get things like this, you know, just, oh, you can't really see, sorry, because of the light. But for me, what these cards are is they're a way of reflecting on what's taking place at the moment. And one of the things that I believe, abundance just doesn't come to us as a financial thing. It comes to us in many other ways. You know, I'm very abundant with my health. I'm very blessed to have good health. Not to say that I don't get little minor ailments, but I do the same as everybody. But as a whole, I do have. So for me, my abundance is having good health. But it could be something else. You know, it could be an abundance of connections with people, abundance of friendships. It doesn't just have to be based around money, etc. And Larkin's popping in, so that's lovely. So I guess my feeling is that for some of you, where it says being open to soulmate or past life connections, I don't necessarily feel that this is about being open to somebody coming in. It's about being open to that when you do have that connection, it may just be to bring you some guidance, some inspiration, some awareness of what's going on in your life at the moment. It may not actually be that this is the soulmate that's going to come and be the one for you for the rest of your life. There are always lessons to learn from these connections that are made, because it follows up with move on with joy. So it may be that where you're sitting in a situation at the moment around that it's time to just be aware of the lessons that it's bringing you, the thoughts that are coming up around it, and then just allow yourself to move on from it. And by doing so, you will open up the doors to the abundance that is coming in for you.
Very good.
Hi.
Hi there.
Hi.
I love this conversation. I feel like I actually almost feel overwhelmed hearing it because, you know, I've been coaching this stuff for over 15 years and I struggled with it years before that myself. And I think there's one of the things that I've learned in coaching is the misunderstanding and misguidance and mislabeling that goes on in regards to manifesting, in regards to soulmates. And at this point in my career, I actually find it irritating because the thing is that the inner desire that we have, the inner desire that those of you inquiring about abundance or soulmates actually have, really doesn't match how it comes out in manifestation form. And you have like an image of what that is. And to be quite honest, the reality of how it manifests never really quite matches that. It can be better than, but we tend to limit it with these ideas that we have. And this whole concept of soulmate actually is very interesting because it causes a lot of suffering. And we have this idea that we have one soulmate and that we're supposed to meet that soulmate in this life. And that makes it more valuable and that makes the love feel better. And everything, we have this subconscious, that 95% of your mind you're unaware of, this subconscious belief. You guys might not realize you have it consciously, but there's a subconscious belief that if you find your soulmate, everything's perfect. The sex is better, the romance is better, there's no conflict, the stars collide, and you know everybody is floating on air. And the truth of the matter is that's not true. Sometimes the person that is your quote unquote soulmate you struggle the most with. Sometimes you suffer the most with them. Sometimes you come and they have the greatest to teach you, the most to teach you. So there's all sorts of things that are, again, the thing people don't like to do that I take people back through in coaching is we have to go back to what really is in alignment. We have to go back to what are the necessary foundations underlying the things that you want, and how do they really show up? Everybody thinks that a soulmate connection is that, they confuse it with that insane attraction. Oh my God, my feet quiver and I get sweaty and I can't think when I'm around him. That absolutely has zero to do with whether someone is a soulmate or not. Zero. That's physical attraction or mental or emotional pain body attraction. There are lots of things that make that soulmate connection important, but it is so undeniable that when we feel that way, we tend to label it and we tend to pick the greatest thing that our human mind can think of, and that's a soulmate. And so some of you are going to think I'm full of BS here, and some of you are going to say, oh, she doesn't know what she's talking about. And some of you are going to get a glimmer of this understanding, because the bottom line is, for over 15 years now, I have watched, or even before that, I have watched people struggle and suffer after pining after a person or a relationship that honestly only exists in their head. And I was one of those people at one point. So I'm not saying that soulmates don't exist, but I am saying broaden your awareness a little bit in your human mental concept of what that is. Because I can guarantee you it's not what you think it is. The other aspect of that is Susie was talking about abundance. And this is the other one where people have issues. In all my years of teaching money coaching and abundance manifesting and all that stuff, it's not, you've got to back up a little bit from the tangible manifestations that you want abundance to be, that you think that means. Because abundance is a frequency. It's not a thing. It's not money. It's not love. It's not just health. It's a frequency that all of those things are able to manifest under. And if you don't have that frequency, no matter what you do to acquire those other things, even if you get them, they're not going to maintain themselves. So what is the bottom line here that I'm saying? Because I sort of jump in and like brutally change this gentle, beautiful conversation. But that's because the reality of it is not what you guys think it is. And if you want abundance, if you want a soulmate, if you want that love connection, you have to get out of the comfort zone and the limited definitions of what you think those things are. Because if you don't, you will be trying to attract what your mental egoic definition of those things is. And you cannot have it. There is not an existence of the egoic version that you want that will fulfill you on the energetic level that is the reason that you want what you want. If that makes sense. Some of you are going to get this. Some of you are just going to be like, whatever. I'm not going to get this at all. But it's really important to understand. And it usually takes my clients years to figure this out, because you really have to come to this understanding on your own.
Yeah, took me a lot of years to figure it out.
Yeah, but we can give you a heads up by mentioning it.
Absolutely.
And by kind of shaking up your world and saying, hey, it's not what you think.
Yeah.
But what is abundance though? So let's have Susie and I share with you how do you get then to a frequency of abundance? I think that's important, Susie, for us to then share with them.
Yeah, for
because
sure.
If they're taking this to heart, they can start moving in that direction.
Yeah. Well, as I was saying earlier, for me, abundance isn't just about the financial side of things. It's about being, well, it starts with gratitude as well for me, being grateful for what I already have, and I lost my home quite a few years ago, through bankruptcy. I was a homeowner. Now I'm a renter. I love renting. It makes life quite flexible, but it also has its drawbacks as well. But on the whole, I am so grateful for the abundance that that's brought me over the years, because the big lesson, or one of the big lessons that I learned from losing everything and being declared bankrupt, was that I had such a serious attachment to material things. You know, if there was something new in the modern technology world, I had to have the latest gadget. And if I couldn't get it on just by buying it, I would get it on credit, and hence the the downslide to bankruptcy in the end. But and I was also very impatient. I wanted everything yesterday as well, you know. And so when that happened, it was like the rug was pulled out from underneath my feet. I lost my home, I lost my cars. We went as a family to live with my parents. So I was very blessed in that respect. So even then, I had abundance in the connections, in the people that were around me, and I was very blessed not to actually be homeless on the street with two children. So my abundance began then, because I started to learn about the things that I already had, and I had in abundance. I had both parents. I had a brother and a sister. I had friends that rallied round. So I was always very grateful, not realizing how the two were linking at that point, because obviously then that was where I sort of began learning and studying and changing my perception. And interesting, just before you came on, Larkin, I was talking about perception and how we see things through a different lens, and if we can change how we look through that lens, we can change our perceptions of
Uh-huh.
what's taking place around for us. So for me, that, I guess, that's where my journey of understanding about what abundance was about, because it wasn't about having money, because money doesn't buy happiness. For me, that's a truth. I had lots of money. I had a beautiful home. I had two cars, and I wasn't happy. I started to begin to be happy after that, when I lost all that and started to evolve and grow. So for me, I can only describe abundance as starting with gratitude for what I've already got, and then things just flow. So when I left my mum's house, we had beds to sleep on, and we had a sofa to sit on. The house came with all what we call the white goods, so I didn't have to think about anything like that. But other than that, we had nothing else. Clothes were in suitcases, boxes, and bags, and all of that. And within, I guess, a month, I had a full house full of furniture, because out of various different friendships and places, furniture arrived. Somebody would ring me and say, "Oh, Susie, I've got this. Do you need it? Would you like it? Is this something that you can use?" And I went from having, I guess, virtually nothing to a three-bedroom house fully furnished. That's abundance for me. That is a flow of abundance. And yeah, some of it cost me a few pounds, some of it was for free. So, how do you describe abundance? For me, I don't think I can actually really truly describe it. It's just having gratitude and just allowing things to flow, but not being attached to what comes to you, or attached to. I think the big thing people look at for abundance is they look at it from a money perspective, from a financial perspective. I don't have enough money for this. And when you say that, when you put that out in the universe, then of course the universe provides you with what you don't have. You don't have enough money.
Absolutely. Anne Marie, we do see you, and we'll get to you in just a moment. Okay. We need to finish what we're sharing here, just so that we can bring this full circle for those people that want to use this. I think, Susie really hit the nail on the head here. If you guys are serious about following the guidance that's coming through from Spirit for you, through us, the key to abundance is gratitude. And the key to transforming any situation is getting out of your comfort zone. You have to initiate it. You're the one here with free will. You're the one that has to make choices that are different before anything can change. So if you're feeling stuck, you're never stuck. If you're feeling stuck in a situation where you feel as though things are not changing, and you feel as though you are not you are not abundant, or you keep going through the same cycles, those cycles are coming from within you. You are the reason you're not experiencing the transformation. And this is why I learned that when I went through a lot of my transformations, it took at least 3 to 5 years. And I find that with my clients, it takes them a good 3 years of intensely working with me to get transformation. And it's not because my coaching program is crap, or I'm a terrible coach, or that they are not good at what they're doing and they can't do it. It's because if it takes you 20 or 30, 40 years to get where you are, it's going to take you at least 2 to 3 years to transform your mindset, because you're human and you've got that 95% of your mindset you're not aware of. And you've got mental and emotional habits that have to be changed. And to be quite honest, you got to be brave. It takes guts, guys. It takes guts to get what you want. It takes guts to get your transformation going. Because you have to, everything you want is on the other side of your comfort zone. And so that means all of your habits, all of what's familiar with you, all your decisions, what feels safe. And so you guys look at someone who's maybe wealthy, or someone who you think is having the relationship that they want, and you think, gee, why can't I have that? Like, that's so, life should give me that. Well, no, you have to get yourself to a frequency. What you don't understand is that life is already trying to give you that. Life is already lined up for you to have that. And this is where Abraham Hicks' book, the art, what is it? The Art of Receiving. This is where receiving comes in. And so Susie was talking about gratitude as being, basically the key to abundance. Well, it is. But with that comes what other things? With that comes, for you to have that frequency and for you to manifest, you have to already feel as though you have it now. Because all that exists, my friends, is the now. There is no past and future. So if you are not feeling grateful for what you have now, if you are not exuding the feelings and experiences of being present,
feeling grateful for what you have now.
Oops, sorry. If you're not feeling that in the now, guys, no matter what you have, maybe you have no money and you have no job and your relationships are wrecked and you're not getting along with your family, your things will not change until you, from the inside out, find a way to feel and experience being grateful for things you have now, because it's impossible for the universe to give you anything more until you are, because like attracts like. So I would start with not complaining and with gratitude. I would stop with, not looking at the things that are going wrong all the time, because you have to somehow turn that big train around. You have to stop the momentum and turn the train around. And that's what Susie and I are trying to express to you. The other thing is, I'm going to say this one more time. Abundance is a frequency. So you can be wealthy financially and not be abundant. That wealth might be there to teach you a lesson, or for you to struggle and worry about not losing it. That wealth might not be there as your form of abundance. So, I recommend you guys shake things up a little. Question your perspective. Don't believe your thoughts. And understand that in order for you to come out on the other side where you want to come out, you have to make some major shifts internally in what you're believing, in what you're thinking, in what you're choosing, in what you're asking. And it will be scary. It will be exceedingly frightening. But on the other side, you're going to be like, oh my gosh. And Susie and I know, because we both practically been on the street before. Both bankrupt, both on the street before, and it's scary.
Oh, very, very scary.
Back to you, Susie.
Thank you. I think I've said all I can say on abundance. For me, I guess like you say, it's the frequency, isn't it? It's a vibration.
Yeah.
It's a feeling that you have without really knowing you've got it as well. And for me, it was just that whole turnaround perspective of one day actually realizing how abundant I was just by looking at my home, and thinking, wow, I came in here with nothing, and now I've got everything I need. And that as well, I think, is also a part of it. You know, how many cars? I mean, at one point I had 3 cars. How many cars can I drive at any one time? That's not to say I don't have 3 cars on the drive now, but I do have a partner that I share them with. So, for me, that's different. One's his, well, 2 are his, and one's mine, so it's sort of that one of them's going. So it's just, yeah, oh yeah, I've just spotted one. Thank you, Donna Ray. I did get rid, I did send them off. Thank you. So it's just, yeah, just having what you. I'm not saying that having what you need is necessarily enough, because sometimes having just enough for what you need perhaps isn't, because you just need that little bit extra, because there's no, we all like to go out and have a little bit of a luxurious moment and treat ourselves, but it depends on what your attachment is, I think, to that need, how.
Yeah.
I used to I love going for massages and things, but I've also found other ways of nurturing my body and treating my body, as well. So I didn't actually need to go and spend hundreds of pounds on a massage as well, but as nice as it is to have them. So it comes back to the perception of how you look at things and what lens you look through, and just really, somebody once said to me that the word need means that you're coming from a place of lack. And I sort of get that, but it's also finding a word to replace need as well, because there are things that we do need. We need the basics in life, like food, warmth, things like that. So again, it all comes back to perception, doesn't it? And how we look at things. And for me, everything is about looking at things with a positive perspective, a positive mindset. Yeah, sometimes we slip and we maybe make a little bit of negative thought now and then. Like you say, we're human. Somebody irritates us, we're human. We respond to that. For me, it's having the awareness of that and not holding on to it, and making the choice to move away from that initial thought and just think, okay, in that moment I felt like that, but now I'm going to feel differently about it, or now I'm going to react differently to it. And that again comes back to our choices, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And Anne-Marie, we will get to you in just a second. This is just, guys, I know this is an Angels in Action broadcast, but I want to remind you guys, again, so much of what we get out of these things and where we go with these things we want to change and transform, honestly, comes from what our mindset is. And I want to remind you all of that. We are, let me open this curtain here. We are, despite, all these, when we want to get spiritual, we kind of slip into this other mode. But the truth of the matter is, you guys, we are human right now. We are human right now. And so you have to understand that no matter how spiritual you may get, no matter how many readings you may get, you are still here in human form, and your mindset is a part of this. And it is the part that is connected to what you are experiencing. So in non-physical, yes, you can manifest stuff just like this, just by thinking about it. In physical form, you're in a very slow and low vibration right now. And so you guys also have to incorporate the fact that you're working with a lower frequency, and your soul is learning to manifest at a level of a slower frequency. And even the terminology that we use, guys, is not really correct for what we want. Words, language and words really get in the way. They do. I mean, we are very limited as human beings into the words that we have. You know, we say soulmate and manifesting and abundance. And to be quite honest, as a human, we have such a limited perspective of what that actually means. And we're taught to judge and label. So the second we hear these things, we judge it and we label it. And then our ego says, oh, but you don't have that. And, you know, unfortunately, this is what causes our suffering. We have to keep stripping away and stripping away and stripping away until we get to the core of what it really is, right? And so, you know, for Susie and I, you know, we both almost ended up on the street. We both had bankruptcies. Were we good-hearted and good intended and doing the right things? Yes, but that doesn't matter. What we needed to learn was outside of our comfort zone, and we had to be shoved there. We were shoved there in a lot of ways because those obstacles are opportunities. So what we're inviting you guys to do here is, at least I would like to, ditch the idea that is being marketed to you about abundance. You are not lacking abundance if you don't have a job where you work 5 hours a week from a laptop on a beach with 5 houses around the world, 10 cars, you know, and a supermodel significant other. I mean, really, this is not, you know, this is not the reality. You are not a loser if you don't have the latest iPhone. I mean, these are just things that, you know, we are being sold and marketed, that even if you say to me, well, Larkin, that's not what I want, that's not what I'm thinking about, somewhere in that subconscious mind, we've all been exposed to these ideas. And it's causing people to feel bad about themselves, to feel not good enough, to feel like failures, to feel like they're not abundant. And I would like to remind you, please journal. Please go back to nature. Please sit down in silence. Get back to the real you and find out, without all this stuff, what really makes your heart sing, because that's where your abundance begins.
For sure. Absolutely. Hi, Rebecca. Welcome from Spain. Thank you for popping in. Lovely to see you.
Hey, Rebecca.
So I think we've about covered that for the moment.
Well, yeah, we can for on here, but guys, this is something that goes on and on, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we're gonna leave it for today, but this is some. Oh, go ahead.
No, go carry on.
I just wanted to tell you guys, like, this is something, like, for you guys, you might be I'm sick of hearing this. Yeah, that's our answer. Thanks. But you have no idea the depth that this goes into. This is something you guys have to apply every single day. You have to practice and learn what it means, what we're talking about, if you actually want a difference in your reality. And that's why we're focusing on this, because you guys can all benefit from this. Thank you, Rebecca. I'm so glad. Hi, Michelle.
Lovely to meet you. I think we're having a very Canadian night tonight, or day today. Lots of our ladies in here, all from Canada. So wonderful. Thank you. And
let's take care of Anne-Marie here.
Yeah.
And I think I do just want to say, Anne-Marie, as well, hopefully this is not what your train of thinking was, but I want to throw this out there. And guys, I'm very blatant. So if I offend you or I seem insensitive, I'm not sorry, because the bottom line is that we have to cut through the crap. If we are always talking to people and we want comfort and we want this and that, a lot of times what we really want is we want reaffirmation of where we are stuck. We don't want to get out of our comfort zone. You're going to have to be a little uncomfortable to get where you want to be. So I just kind of give you guys the real stuff and do with it what you will. But reading your question, Anne-Marie, as well, believe it or not, what Susie and I were just talking about really applies to you. Because yes, God hears your prayers. But here's the thing. What are prayers? Prayers are a form of manifesting. And they are also involving you and your frequency. So if you feel as though you don't aren't being heard by God, source, spirit, the universe, your angels. That is absolutely not true. But the art of receiving is about allowing yourself to receive. And spirit cannot, God, source, spirit cannot force things upon you. And therefore, when we pray, if we are in enough pain, if we are caught up enough in our thoughts and our beliefs that we're stuck, that we're alone, that things are bad for us, that things are not working out for us, no matter what spirit does, it can't get through to us. With a little bit of wiggle room, which Susie and I will talk about for you today, a little bit of wiggle room in your thinking and your feeling and your choices, you will be able to loosen that up enough that you can start to notice how God, source, spirit, your angels are actually responding to you, because they are. You just are not open to receiving that right now. Hi, Helen. Welcome.
Welcome. Thank you. Yes. So while Larkin was talking, I've actually drawn 3 of the flower spirit cards for you. And before I go on with that, one of the things that I want to say is, that's okay, Helen, no worries. I sort of guessed that, yeah. Is that, you know, we are angels in action, each and every one of us. You know, I believe, and I think I like to hope that I'm speaking for both of us. When we came up with this concept of bringing angels in action to you, it was the original, well, for me, the part of the original idea was that we would discuss angels. We would share with you about the different archangels that are out there, your guardian angels, you know, all the usual stuff that is out there, freely available on the internet to go and Google, you know, read books about the angels, because we could bring you that. We could bring you what is out there. But in truth, working with angels in action isn't just about those beautiful divine beings and energy that come in around us. And when they connect with us, you know, my connection with Archangel Raphael, for example, may be completely different to Larkin's connection to Archangel Raphael. And we will come and bring you in different information. We won't bring you what the books tell you or what is also written out there. But also for me, part of the angels in action is there are earth angels all around you, you know, and I like to think that this concept of what we're doing here, talking about, you know, very, very in-depth stuff sometimes, and certainly when it comes to the mindset, we're the angels that are bringing the action for you. You know, we're the ones that are coming in and being almost earth angels, if you want to put a label on it, you know. So I feel very much that this has evolved into something far more than I think either of us ever thought it would be when our original concept came of bringing it. So I love that we are doing and talking about these topics and these subjects. And that's not to say that, you know, we may not do a little thing one day where we do share about what is already out there about the angels. But I feel for me, there's more truth in what's coming through the both of us to offer what we offer you by us speaking our truths, you know. And some of that is from our own experiences, and certainly from me, it's from that space. But some of it is also when we start talking, we don't know what we're going to share sometimes. When I opened up this live earlier, I had absolutely no idea what I was going to talk about. It led on to a conversation about water, and a lot of people could relate to that. And it just made sense to so many of you that were listening. You know, who would think that talking about water would do that? And that, for me, I think is a huge part of the blessings that we have with the angels in action. So getting back to Anne-Marie, the first card that I want to share with you is this beautiful, and it's the spirit of the path, it says. So it is literally a path and a thing. And it says direction. Trust that you are on the right path even when it's tough. Angels walk with you along the way. Look out for signs. And that's what inspired me to share about earth angels, angels in action, just a sharing what comes through, the words and guidance that you can take or leave. You know, it's entirely up to you. We all have free will and choice. But certainly, Anne-Marie, where you are in this moment, whilst it may seem like you are facing huge challenges, huge obstacles, you are where you are meant to be in this moment. There is something here for you, that you are to look at what is happening around you, you know. And sometimes, I don't know if Larkin, you said this, but what's coming in here is that sometimes when we sit down and we send our prayers out to God or whoever we believe in, whatever that is, that's it. We stop. You can't stop. There needs to be continual movement, if you like. Now, it might be that the prayers you've sent out you feel haven't been heard. They will have been heard. But because you are sitting in this stasis moment of not moving, of not doing anything more than thinking, oh, I've just prayed, where's my answer? The universe isn't going to bring you that answer, because the next step is to take some form of action. And by doing that, then you release that energy. But you also have to come into a place as well of trusting that you're where you're meant to be. You're going through what you're meant to be going through. This will have some clarity when the time is right as to what it is that it's bringing you. But it's also allowing you, when you struggle against something, you're trying too hard. You're trying to push through something that you're not meant to be pushing through in this moment. You are meant to be going with it. Yeah, it can be painful. Yes, it can hurt. You know, I can remember going through something many years ago where I literally laid on my stomach on my living room floor and just cried my eyes out and prayed and just said, please help me, please help me, please help me. And I was in so much pain. And then in this moment, I got a flash of inspiration to just let it all go. So I let it all go. And in that moment, I felt such a shift of my own energy. That's not to say that over the next few days, it still wasn't uncomfortable, that I still didn't have moments. But in that moment of thinking, I've got to let this go. I've got to get, you know, there is that phrase, isn't there? Give it up to God and let it go. And things shift when you do that. And interestingly, the next card that came out for you is letting go. And it says it's safe to let go of emotional baggage. Cutting the ties to past experiences set you free. You are divinely protected. And I mentioned it as well, but your third card, I know you can't see them, I'm sorry, because of the light. This is that was Ivy Spirit. This is Fir Tree Spirit. It says stand up tall, take action in support of your beliefs, spend time with friends and family, give thanks for what you have, and action and celebration. So I know from that when you can get into that space of letting go, releasing what it is, trusting in the flow of energy, trusting in the divine, that there is going to be this change and shift for you, seeing things through a different perception, a different lens, there will be cause for you to celebrate.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I have cards today. I didn't draw any. I think what I'm getting for you, Anne-Marie, is exactly what Susie's getting. I think it helps to have it shared in different ways, in different summary and different perspective. Welcome, Stephen. Hello.
Hi, Stephen.
It is very important to shift your perspective if you want a different result. And that's why often you guys hear me get on here and talk like I'm speaking devil's advocate. Okay. We'll finish with Anne-Marie before we move on to the next ones, but we see your questions. Okay, guys. What we share and what comes through with one of your readings and one of your questions has things that serve the rest of you on here as well, if you really listen and pay attention. When you are here, Anne-Marie, incarnate, and there's a long line of souls waiting to be in this world, you have come with certain things that you want to learn and certain things that you have to share and offer. Okay. Hi, Donna Ray. Hi, Nanette. It is very important to understand that when we are, and Susie mentioned this in her part of this sharing in this reading as well, we tend to have these expectations and we tend to look things through the egoic veil, very linear, very cause and effect, right? Very prefrontal cortex mind wise. We tend to expect our angels and God to respond to us the way another person does. You ask for something, they answer, they respond, they say, well, it's going to be this amount of time and I'll try to do that for you. That's not how God and the angels work. You say to your spouse or your sister or somebody, why aren't you listening to me? Can you hear me? And you can either see them and they walk away and ignore you, or they say, yeah, I don't want to talk to you right now. It's not how God and spirit work. You've got to understand that your observer behind your thoughts, the eternal soul that you are, is what relates to angels and God and source and spirit and your spirit guides. Okay? The way you are as a human temporarily thinks entirely differently. Because they don't even think. They're conscious. They don't have thought. They have consciousness. You've added thought on top of this, and thought is your problem. Your struggle, your challenges, your suffering, your confusion, everything, Anne-Marie, like that is thought. What Susie was referring to in, like let go and let God, basically, that's another way of saying let go of the resistance. I'm going to recommend what I always recommend. I'm going to recommend that you get Eckhart Tolle. That may not sound like a spiritual, metaphysical answer, but there has to be a link, guys, between your cognitive mind and your emotion and the spirit that you're asking us to share with you. If there's not a link, you don't get a result. And who is it that has to make the link? You. You have to make the link. And you have to make the link by shifting your perspective, by letting go of resistance. And as Eckhart Tolle says, resistance is what? Resistance is synonymous with ego, which is synonymous with thought. So thought, ego, and resistance are the same thing. It is resistance that gets in your way. It is resistance that keeps love away. It is resistance that keeps money away. It is resistance that keeps you frustrated. It is resistance that keeps you from changing. It is resistance that keeps you from manifesting. It's all resistance. And when I was discovering this on my own, I spent an entire year just focusing on my resistance. And what I found out was it was a bottomless pit. It was a bottomless hole. It never ended. So my goal then became how to recognize that within myself. So as unfun and unmagical and unangelic as this may sound, the angels are very practical because they want you to apply this in a way. You are in a down-to-earth vibration and you have an egoic mind and a prefrontal cortex and an ego. And that means you cannot forget about that and leave it out. This is very important. I hope you guys are really listening to this. The other part of it is you're a part of your spirit team. Your spirit guides, your angels, God, source, spirit, your loved ones, you are a part of that team. So if you are sending out a prayer and asking for their help, and then you're not doing your part, you're not seeing the opportunities that maybe you don't want to take because they're uncomfortable, they cannot do anything. By universal law, they are not allowed to do anything because you are the one here with free will. You're the one given the power. Okay. So this is the deep underside, the foundation of working with angels and spirit guides and prayer. It's not what everybody's telling you out there. The reality of it is you have to be a part of it. And it has to come through your choices. So we can read you lovely cards and tell you about our experience. But my question I'll leave you with right now is, what are you not doing that is different than what you're used to doing that will initiate this change? Because as soon as you start doing that, you're going to start noticing your angels, your spirit guides, God was listening the whole time. Was 24/7 giving you opportunities, giving you answers. You just can't recognize it because your thoughts are too noisy. Okay. Rebecca, you had the exact same message the other day. Haha. That's awesome. So see, guys, as you remember who you are, some people are getting this message on their own. So this is powerful.
Beautiful.
Yes.
I just want to finish off, Anne-Marie, and just say, talking about the perception, changing your lens, instead of finishing off and saying, I will try, just say, I will. And look forward to connecting with you again soon.
I will, and I am.
Yes.
I
perfect.
am now.
Yeah. Wonderful. So thank you so much. That was
Hi,
amazing.
Diane Materna. Yes, open your eyes and your heart. I love it.
Hi, Diane.
Yeah, I want to throw this out real quick for all of you. Thank you, Rebecca, for sharing this. Guys, they are always listening. Your prayers are always heard. They are always responded to.
Absolutely.
Truth be told, if you don't recognize it, it's you. And you have to look inward and shake things up a little bit. Tip the boat over. Do something you're not used to doing. Because those opportunities are always there for you.
Wonderful. Yay. So I did highlight the questions that we've been asked.
Well, good.
We'll just move down the line, shall we, and see how we go. So Michelle says, I'm hoping to get a message from Spirit or even get some guidance from above. I'm wondering if there's something of importance that Spirit needs me to know. My answer to this to begin with is, and I say this with love, that's a very generic question. Spirit are they can come in and they can give you all sorts of information and guidance, but if you haven't got there's something deeper underneath this question. There will be a core to this. So what is it there's something of importance that you feel you need to know rather than that Spirit needs to know. And that's maybe where you need to just come in and sit and journal with that a little bit more. And Spirit, for me, and this is something I've learned fairly recently, I guess, is that we can ask these lovely generic questions and not really get the answer that we'd like to hear. Or we can come in and just drill down a little bit more into what it is that we want. And this isn't me avoiding what your question or trying to gain you an answer. This is me asking you to just get some clarity on what it is that you feel you really want to know and gain some clarity on, because something, Spirit could come back and say, well, it's important that you go away and drink plenty of water. That won't be an answer that you're looking for, but that's the inspirational thought that's coming in. So there's something around perhaps your health and hydration, and I could go on with that as well, but I just feel that you need
I think this will help us because this was her next one you highlighted.
All right, perfect. Okay, wonderful. So I knew we were getting there somewhere.
I realized that my husband passed away last year and isn't coming back home anymore. But I think in the back of my mind, I'm holding on to some hope that he will. I just can't jump into finding happiness. So, wow, I could tear that apart. Michelle, with the greatest love, I could tear that entire sentence apart, because not only as a medium, but as a spiritual coach and mindset coach, that to me, that phrase has everything wrong with it that will lead to your misery and unhappiness. It tells me where the shifts need to be made within you. First of all, there is no such thing as can't. That's a choice. And people don't like to hear that. Can't is a choice. Can't is only something that we haven't experienced is happening yet. So when we say I can't, I used to be a gymnastics coach, and the girls were always like, I can't do the back handspring on the balance beam. And my response was, you only think you can't because you haven't done it yet. And once we have experienced something or successfully done something, then we start to believe that we can. The ego also likes to pop in and make us feel weak and convince us that we can't do things. So first of all, this is going to sound cold, but this is a realization you need to come to. Happiness is actually a state of mind. Joy is the eternal essence that you already are. What you really want is joy. Happiness will come and go. Happiness is already there. It's not a matter of finding it. It's covered by the pain of the loss of his passing and your egoic veil. And even just that understanding, that shift, the tiniest shifts in perspective here in this sentence, in these sentences, will help you. Nobody's asking you to jump right into happiness. And the other thing is why do we assume we have to be happy so much of the time? I hear this all the time. People expect to be happy 95% of the time. And if they're unhappy 5% of the time, they think there's something wrong. The truth of the matter is, guys, you're going to be happy about 50% of the time if you're got a healthy, happy mindset and you're in alignment, and you're going to be probably unhappy maybe 50% of the time. But it doesn't mean you can't always have the joy. Okay. So I would shift your perspective of happiness, and no one's expecting you to jump back into happiness. This is part of resistance. The resistance of being uncomfortable and unhappy. Once you let go of the need to be happy, you're going to start to feel happy. Okay. It sounds counterproductive, but it's true. The other thing is I want to kind of question for you, and Susie and I will both share, I'm sure, talk to you about this, is you're saying you realize that your husband passed away last year and he isn't coming back home anymore. Okay. Well, do you realize that? Do you know that for a fact? Or is that something that your ego is kind of putting on you as a poor, pitiful me? He's not coming back. I'm going to be sad. This is part of my mourning, because you don't feel him anymore. You don't see or sense him anymore. That doesn't mean he's not coming back. That doesn't mean he's not there. If he isn't there, maybe he's taken off and he's gallivanting around the universe because his soul wanted to be free for a while. But I can tell you right now that when you're on the other side, you're outside of space and time. So you can come back at any point in time when your loved ones talk to you or need you or whatever. Sometimes we're needy of the loved ones that went on, and we need to not feel them. Sometimes we need to not feel them in order to be able to let go. So, but I will tell you, it's not that he's not coming back home anymore. And it's not that he can't hear you and he can't sense you and he doesn't love you. Okay. He's always present and can watch over you, but you will go through periods where, in order to go through the mourning of the transition of him leaving this world, you will experience times where you don't feel or sense him. And what I'm getting here very strongly is, unfortunately, here in this human world, that is for you to work through here. You will interact with him again. You will start to be able to sense him again, but you need to get through this phase of mourning first. And I'm going to leave what I'm saying for the moment at that. You got the giggles today, Susie? You've been laughing a lot over there.
I'm just smiling because I think somebody around me is just wanting to make me smile. Not in a facetious sort of way, but just in an acceptance.
It's beautiful. I love it.
Everything that is being said here today is everything that I have experienced. You know, I understand exactly where you are in this moment, Michelle. My husband passed away to the world of spirit 30 years ago. I was age 34 and he was age 38. You know, I had 2 young children, 4 and 7. So I know exactly how you're feeling in this moment. You know, that there is no time limit on grieving. But for me and my understanding and my awareness now, once I got to be able to know exactly what Larkin is saying, that they never leave us, no matter whether it be our husband, a loved one, a friend, because I've been reading down your comments and I notice you've lost 2 friends recently. You've lost the 2 brothers that have passed away close together. So you've had a lot of what we call loss of the physical human part of us in this present moment. So it's one thing after another is perhaps compounding what you're feeling. When you get to the awareness and the understanding that they never leave us, they are always around us, your whole perception of grieving changes. So yes, I like you, I grieved for a lot of years following the loss of my husband. But having said that, it didn't stop me going out and doing things that in reality could create excitement, could create enjoyment in the moment. And for that moment, I did have that. You know, my brother, bless his heart, came to live with me for 3 months after my husband passed away. And one of the things that he did was he said to me, "You're getting up out of that chair, you're getting out of this house, and we're going out." And he and I would go out. You know, he's 5 years younger than me, so he was in his late 20s, I was in my mid 30s. We'd go out and we'd go to a bar for a drink, we'd go to a nightclub for a dance, and in that moment, it's not saying that I completely forgot about what had happened, but I let it go. And I found a way of just enjoying, having some moments of enjoyment. And yes, I would go home, and then the next day or a couple of days later, I'd feel that overwhelming sense of grief again. But that got less and less the more that I took action and did things. I had to be pushed sometimes to go out and do something, but when you do that, it changed the level of grief that I was experiencing. And that grief over the years changed from this heartache, this heartbreak, this not feeling whole, to feeling like I was me, a person again who could live life, could do things. Because I then made a choice, because I realized that I had a choice. I could stay in the depths of despair, the well of grief, whatever you want to call it. I mean, I remember, I'll share this with you, when my brother was taking me out, and my mum turned around and she was like, "You can't possibly do that. You can't go out. You're a widow. You need to grieve for 2 years." I don't know that if that's a philosophy in other countries, but certainly here in the UK, it was years ago, it was believed that you should wear widow's weeds for 2 years or longer, before you could possibly go out. And I think that probably stems from Victorian times. But my mum had this concept of that's what I should be doing. And my brother was like, "Mum, she's 34 years old. She's a young woman. She needs to live her life." And that started me. So, in a way, that was the angels, and I realize that now, guiding that to happen for me. Otherwise, I could have stayed stuck in my grief. So again, said with love and kindness and compassion, but grief is a choice. It's a feeling, it's an emotion, it's an energy that comes up in us because we're human. We have that human contact, we have that wanting, that desire, that need to hold that person again, because we had so much of that physical contact before. But to stay in that process is a choice. You can choose to make a shrine and do everything that's possible to try and get him to come back to you. But in that, you're putting up your own blocks. But if you let it go and accept that you can move on, you can live your life again, you can find things to do that bring you enjoyment. It might be taking yourself out for a walk on the beach, or going shopping and buying yourself a bunch of flowers, or finding a friend to go to lunch with, doing something at least once a week or twice a week with somebody else, joining a club, all these sort of things. They can be of great benefit to help you move through this process of grieving and then stepping out of it. I'm sure Larkin will understand this, and I'm sure there's many people out there who won't understand this, but Larkin knows, and a few people around me who you may have heard me say this before, but my father passed away in February. We had his funeral at the beginning of March. Up until he passed away, the circumstances of his passing were quite, for a lot of us, traumatic. I was very angry at the situation that took place. I dealt with that anger. I worked with some beautiful souls to help me transmute that energy. On On the day of his funeral, I cried and I grieved. That was it. I know he's happy. I know he's whole. I know he's well. And I know that he's in the world of spirit and he's watching over me. And I no longer need to grieve his passing. And that's how easy and quick you can step out of the grief. There will be lots of people out there who will probably go, absolutely not. That's not possible. You can't do that. Trust me. I've done it. I can do it. And I know it. I believe it. And I trust it. My advice to you is start to take the steps towards doing things that you like to do in life. And then you will gradually find that that will change for you. And you will find, perhaps not necessarily the excitement, define the word excitement. Excitement for me is perhaps jumping out of an aeroplane. That might not be something you want to go and do. So again, it's perhaps refining the phrases that you're using. I feel for you what you'd like to find in life is peace and joy, which Larkin's talked about. We can't always be in a constant flow and state of happiness. I think we'd have to be Buddha to be doing that. I'm not sure. Not sure if that's even what he is. Is he a perfect state of epitome? Joy. So, it's like to attain that complete state takes a lot of work and a lot of growth and development. But I feel for you, if you can come into this place and this understanding that, as Larkin says, they've never left us. They're always around us. It's just while you're in this process at the moment, you're not able to see, sense, or feel that. One of the things that I began looking for when I started to have this understanding and awareness that my husband was around, was I would start to think, wow, that's one of his favourite songs. You'd hear it randomly being played on the radio. And in that moment, I was just like, thank you. You're showing me you're present. Somebody might end up just mentioning him out of the blue. Thank you. You're showing me you're present. Because these things that happen, hearing a favourite song, seeing their favourite book or magazine somewhere, hearing somebody mention their name, they are not, for me, random happenings. They are spirit-led. They're angelically guided, however you want to believe it, that they're making you aware that they are present. So I hope that helps, Michelle.
Absolutely. And I hope that you guys are taking notes on some of this. I know I always ask my mindset coaching clients to do that. I think on here, a lot of times people don't, but then at least come back and re-listen to the guidance, because you guys what comes through for you is so much more than what you guys can take in and apply immediately. And remember, these are calls to action for you. For you, Michelle, a lot of this is about, stepping into your power, realizing the choices you have. And that's frightening for people, because when we do that, we have to take radical responsibility, and that can be scary for our emotions, self-control. Like, it's much easier, especially when we're suffering, to wait for things to change, to talk to things outside of ourselves, such as angels and spirit guides and other people. But the truth is you have, and this is what one of the things Susie is talking about, you have powers of choice you don't know you have. And you have to understand that in this physical world, things are not as they appear. Things are not as they seem. And so much of it is painted by our frequency and our mindset. We shape our own perception. And when we switch our perception, our reality changes. That's what Dr. Wayne Dwyer was trying to say. When he was like, if you shift your perception, you basically are shifting your reality. I don't remember the exact quote, but that's what he was trying to share. And so your reality will shift when you can shift that perception. And that perception shift takes self-control. It takes a power of choice. It takes getting out of the collective egoic mindset of, okay, I've lost someone I love from this world now, and I should be mourning, I should be sad, I should be upset, it should take this long. You get in conversations with other people who have been through that, and it perpetuates an unhealthy and a very slow way of working through it. But again, Susie was talking about resistance before. This is resistance. It's not actually the passing of your friends and your husband that are the problem. It is your ego's resistance to the change of your own identity when they depart from this world. Because they are still there. Your relationship has not ended. It has merely transformed. You have to now relearn how to sense them, relearn how to feel them, relearn how to communicate with them. They can already do that from their side. And like Susie said, when you shift your perspective of all of this, when you realize you're only here a split second, I mean, in this amount of time, in reality, you're going to be back on the other side with them. And there's nothing you think, feel, say, or do that they don't know about. So have that be your comfort. Take it one day at a time and be very aware of the mindset and self-talk you have that is keeping you in a place of suffering. Okay. And we'll be thinking of you. Come back and visit us and let us know how it's going.
Absolutely. So Christina's asked a lovely question. Please let me know if you're drawn to me. Definitely want to inquire on my archangels. I believe I know one. So I guess what you're asking for is to see if we can connect with that one, or if there are others around you. I am very drawn from reading your question from the offset. I was very aware of Archangel Michael around for you, Christina. And for me, Michael is very much about, a lot of people see him as the protector. They call about, he is God, you know, he's said to be God's right-hand warrior. He's the warrior angel. He's there for protection. But for me, he's very much about communication. He's very much about drawing in the energy of communication around you. And this isn't just for Christina. This is for, I feel, everybody that's here on this call, that Michael is very much close to us, and it's about the communication that he brings, because I do feel that there's something around you that you need to finite your communication. It needs to be something that you, it just feels like I want to say there's something that you need to communicate, but it needs to be communicated with a little bit of finesse, is the word that's coming through. So I hope that helps you a little bit in your question around being Michael.
I cannot even believe this. So I decided to pull out my Archangel Oracle cards. Okay.
Go on.
And I want to say one thing before I read the cards. And
I heard a little squeak, so I guessed it was a validation.
Here's validation. That's awesome. Now here's the thing, guys, that I think is really funny. But first of all, I want to share. Let's get clear about, you're talking about your archangels. And again, I get very specific about this because our language screws us over. Okay. You believe you know one. Okay, well, that's great. But here's the thing. The archangels are working with all of us. They work with you guys all the time to different levels. Different ones move forward, different ones move back. The archangels are so enormous. They're so transcendent and multidimensional and parallel universe all at the same time. You guys can't even imagine until you experience it. But they're not just working with you in your lives. They're working with everything. They're working with the energy grids of the earth. They're working with, creative frequencies. They're working with communication frequencies. They're working on things at a high level, a massive level, and a private level with you. Okay. So first of all, there are not just my archangels. All of the archangels are a part of guiding and protecting, and you're in all of their presence. Different ones will move forward at different times as you need them. Okay. And that is different than your guardian angels. Okay. So as Susie was talking about today, there's all these different levels and layers of angels. And I went ahead and I pulled cards. I was in my mind, I was immediately popped up Jeremiah, and I'm going to share that with you. And the third card I actually drew for you was that. So I'm going to do these briefly. And then Hanael came up, and I'm going to share that with you as well. And this does not mean these are your only archangels. This means these are ones moving forward for you right now. But I think it's pretty cool that I thought Jeremiah, and then there it was, poof, it came up as a card. Because they're going draw a third one, draw a third one. But the first one I pulled that popped out at me while Susie was talking was Archangel Michael. And I actually, honestly, I usually avoid Archangel Michael for people. And the reason is because everybody's obsessed with Archangel Michael. Everybody's obsessed with him because he gets the most advertising, the most marketing. He's on sitcoms, he's on TV shows, he's,
so he likes his presence, though.
yeah. But the truth is that it's, that's our thing. Our mind, our ego likes the idea of Michael. So it comes up so much. So I try to bring the others forward often because I feel like it's really important that we don't just get obsessed with the top 3 or 4 that we hear about the most. But I kid you not, this came up first. And interestingly enough, Susie was trying to share that Archangel Michael is so much more than just a warrior and a protector. And yet, what does the card say? Remember who you are. My favorite phrase. If any of you have ever heard me online before, whether it's coaching, whether it's readings, it's about remembering who you are. And that is because, Christina, when you remember who you are, you have alignment. Confusion goes away. You have truth. You have clarity. You step into your power. You have remnants of what resonates with you and what doesn't. You have separation between the egoic identity and who you are as an eternal soul. That is true power. That awareness of remembering as a soul who you are, who you came to be while in human form is so powerful. And so this was that card I got for you from my Archangel Michael. You are, I didn't even read this first, I swear. It says, you are a powerful, loving, and creative child of God. You are very loved. And that goes right in alignment with what Susie was sharing with you. I mean, go figure. I can't even believe that. Now that second one, Archangel Hanael, and follow your renewed passion in your love, life, and career. Okay, this actually goes with remembering who you are. If you are truly passionate about something, it is not just an egoic like or attraction. It is a passion that comes from the fire in the belly of your soul. So are you following what you're most passionate about? Or are you doing things that are means to an end? Are you choosing friendships and relationships that are a mean to an end that seem to fit what you think people approve of and what you should have and what fits into your life? Or are you following your true passion and intuition, right? Are you waking up doing the things you're passionate about that you can't wait to leap out of bed with joy? Because joy is your eternal state, not happiness. I don't know. Only you can answer that, right? But the third one, it said, draw a third one, because I picked these two and I thought, well, that's disappointing because Jeremiah is what came through for me. That's what came in first. And so this third card popped out, said, pick a third one, and here it is. All is well, which you all need to hear. If you have the belief that everything is working out for you and you train yourself to believe that, you start to perceive everything as that. Even when things go wrong, there's a reason why everything's working out for you in the bigger picture. Your ego doesn't have to know why. Your ego is always going to look for a problem. But if you trust everything's always working out for you, that allows the angels to move in and to show you that everything's working out for you. It's not that everything's not working out for you guys, no matter what situation you're in. It's that you can't experience that they're having everything work out for you unless you get out of your own way. Okay. So this last one, Christina, says, everything is happening exactly as it is supposed to. With hidden blessings, you will soon understand. Okay. So we're going to leave you with that, Christina. Again, Susie and I cannot make this up before you guys get on here. We just get the same things for both of you. If that's not proof enough that the angels are there for you, I don't know what is.
Definitely.
Awesome.
Oh, wonderful.
Hello, Stephen.
Hi, Stephen. So Stephen says, hello, name is Stephen. Thank you for sharing your gift. I'm wondering what career I should pursue. I'm physically limited, which makes it hard to get and keep employment. And then the rest of his question is also, is there any woman in my near future?
Fantastic.
I know Larkin's going to love this one.
Oh, yes, absolutely. I'm actually drawing cards for him right now.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you have some. I'm going to go back and forth with Susie on this because I think we're both going to have lots of things to add in here. But obstacles are opportunities, and as soon as you ask about career, it's more about you have some gifts of mind and heart and wisdom that you have held back with. You have some things that you're passionate about that you can do without a lot of physical effort, that you can shift into, that you are very gifted at. Perceptually, conceptually, I think that the challenge seems to come in that you have certain beliefs about what you're good at, what you're not good at, and about what your experience is in. And I'm seeing a block in communication. In other words, there are things that you are good at, that you are passionate about, but that you are not, you haven't really even looked into or considered doing as a new career in a new direction. Partly because there are aspects of communication that you'd have to test out and develop, and that would take courage for you to step into that new role. In other words, life is wanting you to take an entirely new direction. And one of the ways that it's doing that is with that physical limitation. But you have some gifts that you knew and liked as a child. I'm not sure if it's creative writing or sharing your thoughts and observances. I see you sharing and communicating and sort of reaching out and impacting and influencing groups of people. And I don't know if this is through speaking, or this is through writing, or this is through teaching, but it's some form of communication like that has sort of been left in the wayside and not been developed, that is there, that's going to bring you abundance and joy, prosperity and joy. And I want to quickly share these with you here. I drew for you prosperity. This, to me, I'm getting means that there's going to be prosperity coming from you taking this new change in direction, which is also getting out of your comfort zone. Okay, it's Archangel Ariel. Your material needs are provided for as you follow your intuition and manifest your dreams into reality. You have some dreams and visions you don't realize that you have that are going to be an offshoot of what right now to you seem to be limitations. Okay, let me scroll down here to see if you're. And then I got courage, which is also Archangel Ariel. So guess what? One of the archangels that's hanging out with you strongly is, my dear. And that's interesting too, because her energy is about protection and courage and creativity and moving forward. Be courageous and stand up for your beliefs. So there's going to be some things that you're passionate about that you want and need to share, that you need to find your voice for. And this is going to be a part of this new career direction. As you start making that shift, the opportunities for these new careers are going to be there. Yeah, you can report, yes. Well, look at this. Gabriel, creative writing was the other one I got to. And the first thing that came through for you from me when I saw Susie put your first question up there was writing. And what I'm getting, and I get chills for, is that you have no idea your capacity to communicate and share and impact others with your gifts. And I believe it goes even below. You can write poetry, but I believe your creative writing actually goes even beyond that, goes beyond poetry. It says, make time. This is a key component. Make time to write down your thoughts in a journal with a pen and something in a book. I don't know what this must be, a typo on this card. But you have more in there than the poetry is powerful, but the poetry is going to be a stepping off block for you. It's going to unleash passions and things that you have to share with others that are very powerful. You do that passionately, and it's going to bring through some prosperity, okay, for you. So your direction, I'm seeing, new career-wise, has to do with writing. I do see that it's probably not going to start out the way you think it would start out. It may not just be starting out like, oh, I'm going to put together a poetry book and sell it. That's probably not going to be something you could live off of immediately. But the writing is going to be needed, and it's going to morph, and it's going to evolve to the point where that's going to be your new career. And that's what I'm being shown. Susie?
Beautiful. Yeah. Well, the 3 cards that I've got for Stephen are probably virtually the same, but different wording. So I've got the 7 of Earth. This is from the Angel Tarot. And it says, seeds well planted, a temporary pause in action, an unnecessary worry. So around that, I do feel that this, because one of your other card is the King of Air, brilliant, impartial, professional, diplomatic. And it says, speak your mind with confidence, seek out professional advice, balance mental and emotional considerations. And I do feel that those 2 cards link together, you know, that this temporary pause in action and a sense that perhaps this is why you've been in and out of the jobs that you've been in and out of, because they're really ones that aren't balancing your energy. They're ones that really aren't the right fit for you. And when, you know, it's a bit, this feeling I've getting is it's a bit like you're a square peg trying to fit into a round hole. There's something about your uniqueness. There's something about you as an individual that really doesn't, I want to say, conform to what is expected in a, let's say, conventional job. So this conformity is what's holding you sort of in the worry, because you're trying to fit in and be something that you're not, and you need to really step out of that. And the fact that you write poetry is very much, I feel like Larkin said, that came in for me, that it's the stepping stone to what your career will become, because it's the way that you can allow your thoughts and feelings to flow, to then express yourself. And with that expression will come the creativity of other thought and other inspiration and other guidance. But there's something at the moment within you where there's this need for balancing the mental and emotional. So I get a feeling that perhaps where it's asking you to seek out professional advice, that might be around perhaps talking to somebody, you know, having some talking therapy, if you like, somebody where you can find that balance between the mental and emotional that's perhaps causing you this need to and fro from what you believe you should be doing to what you actually are being guided to do. Your 10 of Air, the 3rd card that came out, is the end of a difficult situation. Embrace the change, expect things to get better now. And it finishes off with recovering from an addiction. But I feel that this addiction isn't about an addictive behavior. It's more about a need that's driving you, but it's driving you to be the square peg in the round hole. And that's what needs to be changed, really. In response to a woman in your life, I don't get a sense of anybody immediately in this moment. Again, this comes back to, I don't know if you were here when we were talking about soulmates, soul connections, finding that relationship. It might be worth you going back to listening to the beginning of this live, where we talked about the soulmate and trying to find that one person and the illusion that's built around it. I do feel that there will be somebody for you. That person will come in, but not until the time, as they say, is right. Time is linear, it's man-made. It doesn't, I can't put a time scale on that, but there's this feeling that what needs to be created first is your shift in your energy, the shift in your vibration, the shift in your desire to sit and find who you are as this unique individual. And that when that's done, when you start to do that, when you start to find your place and start to find the career paths, the career changes that you're making, then that's when you will be in the right vibrational match to draw the woman who is the right vibrational match for you. Yes, you could meet somebody tomorrow. Yes, you could have a relationship with that person, but it will be like that. It will be this energy that's going on. Whereas you're looking for the energy of, this is you, this is the woman that you want to be with, and that's the cohesion that will take place. But that can only happen when you both sit on the same vibrational energy. And until you connect with and become the person that you are going to become with the first question around your career, your creativity, your writing, and where that is going to leapfrog you to next, that's when your connections will come in. I personally would say to you, forget about a woman in your life at the moment. Think about you. Become you. Find you. When you are in your vibrational energy and are passionate and happy, then you can start to think about the relationship.
Exactly. I mean, everything Susie said about that is what's coming in for me as well. I mean, just to reiterate in different words, you must become the vibrational match for the relationship that you want. And that's not something that can be forced. And part of that is the work you do through this personal journey with your career shifts and the mindset shifts that have to go with that. Believe me, I've been through that. Relationship was the most important thing in my life.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I'm talking decades. All my friends were married with kids decades before me, literally. They were, some of them, they married their junior high sweetheart. And there I was, wanting it probably more than any of them. And, so it's about becoming the version of you that is holding the idea of the relationship that you want, that feels in your heart what's the right match for you. And so, like Susie said, you can have relationships, but that one that you really feel that you're feeling that you're longing for, that is resonating with you, as soon as you become the version of you that is in the right alignment for that relationship, then that relationship can come into your life. And it's usually when you least expect it.
Yeah, okay. Absolutely. Well, I have to say it's been a wonderful 2 hours.
Absolutely.
And we only ever planned that these would be an hour long. For all of you beautiful souls who have requested a connection to be made with us, come back and see us again. Is all I can say. Yes. I'm really sorry that we haven't got through to all of you, but as with everything, there is wisdom and guidance with messages that come in for one person that can be embraced and encompassed by all. If you've come in partway through this live, then please go back and listen from the beginning, and you may find that there's some words of wisdom that have been shared that will help you in the moment of this question that are coming forth. I'm drawn to Hayley O'Brien, who's saying she's got a hard month coming up. The hard month is coming up only because you believe it's going to be a hard month. Everything we share is always about changing your thoughts, your words, and your ideals, and change the lens of perception. And this is something I talked about in my group earlier today. When we change our lens of perception, we change our vibration, we shift the energy that's coming round. And I believe that's a message for each and every one of you that's been here on this live today. Thank you so much. From my heart, I am so grateful that Larkin and I are able to be able to bring you Angels in Action. So.
And just remember, guys, this is now your job is to now go off and apply this, because that's part of the angels and spirit guides work, is to help guide you to do your part, right? So make sure you're not passive in this, okay? And Susie and I have so many different things that we provide and share for you. Susie has beautiful cards and little angel boxes that she makes for you guys. I have Furball Fridays and Meet Your Spirit Guides event once a month. So, get on both of our pages on Facebook, get on the YouTube page and try to support us there. We each have things we share with you each and every day. And so get on and really look through our stuff and find out what serves you. Everything from private readings to free assistance. And it's all different. They all offer different depths of things. But just remember, it starts with you. You have to remain authentic about this. And sometimes it's going to be uncomfortable to get where you want to go. Okay, don't expect it not to be uncomfortable. Don't get on here just to get rid of the discomfort. Get on here to remember who you are and step into your power so that the struggle and discomfort can be shortened, so that you can, it's not all about getting past the pain and getting to what you love. sometimes it's just about shifting your perspective entirely. Okay, as Susie was talking about. And so just, make sure you like this. Make sure you get on and check out the different things we have to offer. And that may serve you, especially if we didn't get to you today.
Yeah.
And we'll see you next Monday.
All right.
Same time.
Bye.
Everyone. Hey, Buttercup.